on the Albuquerque
23 Robin Park.
9655 Facility will be on.
Welcome to the first ever episode of Behind the Badge, the official podcast of the California Highway Patrol.
And who better to be our first guest than the commissioner himself, Commissioner Sean Duryee. Commissioner, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So for our audience members who might not know, Commissioner Duryee has dedicated over 25 years of service to the CHP and now leads the department as the 17th Commissioner of the California Highway Patrol. Today, we brought him in to discuss leadership, priorities within the department, and a little bit about what the future holds for the men and women behind the badge.
So I know Julie said over 25 years. How long has it been?
27 now.
27?
We got to update that. Yeah, when I was appointed, I was in my 25th year, but in my 27th year now. Time flies.
I was going to say, how fast has it gone by?
Super fast. I can remember, the first year I broke in 1998, and it seems like it was yesterday. So, yeah, it goes by in a blink.
Well, and that's something that the three of us have in common. We've all worked in that area, which was...
Absolutely. Santa Rosa, the Fighting 360.
Yes, all of us.
Yeah, we did all. Yeah, it's a great office.
Yeah. How long were you there?
At what rank?
Well, good question. Yeah.
So obviously I started there as an explorer for a couple of years and then served as an officer for a few years there and the sergeant for a couple of years. So yeah, it'll always be home.
Julie?
I was there for only 2 years.
2 years.
2 years, but they were great, memorable, very busy.
Yeah. I was one of Blair's Explorer advisors while he was an Explorer there. Yeah, I was brand new on the job, and he turned 16 and jumped right into the Explorer post.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a lot of ride-alongs.
A lot of ride-alongs.
Yeah.
I don't know how you put up with me that long.
Yeah. We implemented a rule that you had to do community service to earn a ride-along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I called it the Blair rule.
Well,
I did a lot of community service.
Yeah.
he's equally as dedicated now.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so let's get started. Let's take us back to before you joined the academy. What made you interested in law enforcement?
Service, for the most part. I had just come out of the United States Army, did a 4-year active duty enlistment, was living here in Sacramento and going to college, married at the time. My wife and I got married while I was in the Army, still married today, 32 years later. But together we were walking our dog, sitting at the park, kind of just dreaming and talking about what was next for us. And I had shown her an article in the newspaper. That's how far back it was. We actually recruited in the newspaper. There's a little thumbnail in the local newspaper, the thumbnail ad, and said, "Join the Highway Patrol." We had a conversation there at the park, and that was the beginning of it for me.
Was this the only agency that you applied for?
No, when I got out of the service, I ETS'd out of the Army in Fort Lewis. I love the Northwest, and I love the outdoors, and so I had applied for Washington State Police, Oregon State Police, and the California Highway Patrol all at the same time, was simultaneously going through the process, and got to a point where I had to pick, and I chose the Highway Patrol, mostly for the reputation, the training. I just felt like they were the best of the best, and so really hit the gold mine by doing that.
Well, California's home, right?
Yeah, California's home. I grew up I was born in Redding, but as a baby, we moved to Alaska. And so I lived early parts of my childhood in Alaska, a little town called Palmer, Alaska. And about 11 and a half, we moved back to California, and that's where I finished my childhood. Grew up there in Northern California.
So I know we talked about, joining the Highway Patrol. Obviously, everyone starts as a cadet going to the academy, but full circle, you spent some time at the academy as an instructor throughout your career.
Yeah.
What was that like coming back?
Oh, going back as an instructor? Oh, it's a dream come true. I think, as a cadet, you look up to the instructors. They're very influential in laying that foundation in each of us. And I went back at 4 years on and as a physical training instructor, and just loved it. I loved that role and helping inspire, hopefully, and motivate and push people beyond what they thought was possible.
Yes,
Right, Julie?
I can attest. Yes, very motivational.
Oh, I remember how you prepared for that role by practicing with the Explorers. So
Yeah.
we got the preview, and then you got
the follow through.
the follow through.
Yes, Yeah.
Full
Well, you're
circle.
both welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for conditioning our minds and our bodies.
Yeah, it was a good time.
But one of the nice things about the Highway Patrol is we do have the flexibility to move anywhere in the state, and California has everything.
Yeah.
From the academy, you went to a very remote area, didn't you?
No, for my academy instructor times, yes. I broke in Santa Rosa, Sonoma County. That worked out perfect for us because my wife was finishing up her college degree. So, as you know, Sonoma State's right there, and I was able to break in and do my first 4 years on the job. She was able to finish her bachelor's degree. And from there, I did a 2-year stint at the academy as a physical training instructor. And the academy shut down. In fact, I think it was your class was the 32 or so cadets.
Yeah, it was the 75th anniversary class.
Okay.
And at the time, Commissioner Helmick had wanted to have the academy was shut down, but he had one class to honor the 75th anniversary.
Yeah, and then following your class, the academy shut down. So as an academy instructor, you're just kind of not doing anything. And there was an transfer advertisement for the Tule Lake resident post. We moved up there, and my second daughter was born up there. You talk about the boonies, you're up. It's north of Alturas, east of Wairika, Doris, but very, very small rural area. And in the resident post, you're out there all by yourself. There was another CHP officer. We worked it together, but when I was on, he was off, and vice versa. So it was exciting.
It puts you in a position not only to be really self-reliant, but also rely on your other allied agency partners, one of who I believe you recruited for the Highway Patrol.
You worked side by side. In fact, I had a Modoc County Sheriff radio in my car, mounted in my car, and that was my beat partner, was a Modoc County Sheriff, and then at times Siskiyou County Sheriff when you were on the other side. And actually recruited one of them, and he's with the Highway Patrol now. He broke in Newhall, Pablo Castaneda. He came on, broke in Newhall, went back to the resident post, and is still up there today. Probably finish out his career there, I would imagine.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Classmate of mine.
Oh, was he?
Hilarious guy. Yeah.
Yeah. We had some good times.
So where did you go after the resident post?
Resident post, I came down, moved back to Stockton on the sergeant's list. I tested for sergeant out of the resident post, and then went to Stockton for a short bit, did some acting sergeant time, promoted into Hayward, and then had the privilege of starting up the AOST, as we know it now, Advanced Officer Safety Training. In 2005, the department started that program, and I was one of 10. Trying to think, I think there were 12 of us total officers and sergeants. I was one of the original 12 instructors, so we kind of led that. That group was recognized with the Governor's Employee Safety Award in 2008, so I did that for about 2.5 years. From there, I always had a goal to be a motor officer. I went to motor school and landed in South Sac as the motor sergeant and worked there for 5-6 years plus. I can't remember. Loved that job. Had a lot of fun there and was convinced to take the lieutenant's test. And from there, had a series of different jobs in headquarters and the field. But yeah.
Yeah, you've always had a very field-centered mindset, and whether it was working the road, taking really overly eager explorers on ride-alongs, or even when you were teaching at the academy, focusing on things like officer safety, ways to help improve our ability to do our job, and your experience working in a very remote area where you have to be self-reliant, do you still carry those, or do those values that you have, do those dictate a lot of the things that you do now in your current role?
Oh, absolutely. I hope that it drives everything that I do in my current role. We at headquarters, every position exists to support the officers that are out there doing their job. Every position in the Highway Patrol exists. Every support role is there to help them do their job better. And so I'm constantly driven to hopefully make their job safer, more efficient, better in ways that we could do that. So it's tough. I know at times as you're separated from it, you do grow out of touch with it. And so I'm constantly striving to get out there and do ride-alongs and spend time in the field, maintain my own proficiencies and competencies, and confidence. With it comes confidence. It wanes as you get into these admin assignments. And so, in fact, tomorrow, well, you're helping me set up the car, but we're doing a ride-along. I'm giving a ride-along to a staffer outside the department, and going to take them out and do some patrol.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, it is a perishable skill, and that's something that from AOST and all the teaching you've done. I'm sure that's something that you've taught is perishable skills and making sure that we don't forget. I mean, at the core, we're all still police officers.
For sure. And I think the public doesn't recognize me any different than they do the officer working the beat. They see an officer in uniform, and the expectation is you're going to be able to perform like any other police officer out there.
Well, when you're getting pulled over by a motorcycle, you're not expecting 5 stars on the collar either.
People don't even notice.
They would in Ohio.
Yeah, in Ohio
Yeah.
they would. Yes, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ride motors before you wanted to be a motor on the department?
No, you guys remember Ryan Kilgore, a good friend of mine in Santa Rosa. We were training together, and Santa Rosa had a very senior motor program back then, so I didn't have the seniority to get on. I practiced and practiced, never had the opportunity to go. And then, I kind of went through how things happened with my career. First opportunity I had to get on it was when I got back to South Sac.
So as you reflect on your entire career, was getting to the commissioner's spot, like, was that always a goal? Was that like
No, it was
you're doing
never a goal.
8 count bodybuilders as a cadet going someday?
No.
Someday.
Absolutely not. Never a goal. And honestly, I think anybody that has their sights set on that early in their career as a goal is probably not the right person for the job, because to be successful, I think there needs to be a level of humility and competency at other positions. And you have a hard time developing competency in the position you're in if you're always focused on the next step. And so, no, I never set my sights on it. A good friend of mine, he's, I'll say it, it's no secret. The deputy commissioner today, Ezra Beauchamp, and I were studying for tests. We started studying together for the captain's test. And I remember we were doing those orals. He said, "Hey, one day you're going to be one of the commissioners." And I was like, "You are out of your mind. That is never going to happen. I'm going to South Sac. I'm going to be the area commander." And that's the end of it for me. And, he's a good friend. He saw something in me I didn't even see in myself. And I'm very fortunate for the opportunities that kind of opened and the paths that opened for me to get here.
Well, and obviously it's a huge leadership position. The Highway Patrol is the largest state police agency in the nation, correct?
Right.
And so you're at the helm of that. We've gotten to leadership roles throughout our careers in various capacities, and there's a lot of lessons that get us to where we're at. When you reflect back, what is a leadership lesson that you learned the hard way, and how did that shape you and how you've gone moving forward since then?
I won't get into details because some of the people are still active that it involved, but I will tell you as a leader, you have to rely on your instincts and your gut, and you're always going to have people trying to influence decisions one way or another, and sometimes those influences are self-serving, but I'm not proud of the fact. I think if we're all being honest, there's probably decisions we've made throughout our career that we wish we could go back and do. And there's been a couple of those where I knew what I should do, but kind of leaned towards where you were getting influenced. And looking back, things happened where it was then obvious what should have been done. And so those are the lessons that I've learned. Follow your gut, follow your instincts, and get input from people. But at the end of the day, as the decision maker, you have to go with what you think is right.
Having said that, how do you balance accountability with empathy?
That's a great question. First, you got to recognize that everybody's human. We're all making mistakes. I make mistakes every day. You both do, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I hit the curb today.
Yes, you did. I wasn't going to bring that up.
Well, I
but-
was.
Yeah. We all make mistakes. There's a difference between an honest mistake of somebody that's trying and a mistake of that comes from a malicious place where it was something you should have known better, or you did know better, and you chose to go down a path that was malicious. And so you have to have empathy for people and allow them to make mistakes, allow them to fail, to be successful, allow them to take risks, and realize that not every action below you is going to be done the way that you would do it if you were in that position. You got to trust people and you got to allow people to run. Otherwise, an agency so big, you become mired in bureaucracy and procedures. And so we have to try to avoid that.
When you're trying to make tough decisions, because decisions you make literally affect thousands of people, whether it's CHP employees or external stakeholders or even the people of California. What internal compass do you rely on?
Well, I mentioned it earlier. You got to go with what you think is right. But, there's 4 people most important in my life, my wife and my 3 daughters. And I would always want my decisions to withstand the test of them scrutinizing it. And so you talk about a moral compass or something that gives you direction or bearing. I want to be able to lay out any decision I make in front of my 3 girls and for them to say, yeah, that's our dad. And so, yeah, that's important to me. That's kind of what drives the way I carry myself and the decisions that I make every day.
What's the biggest shift in leadership you've seen in law enforcement over the past decade? I mean, a lot of things have happened nationwide, internationally, that affects us here in California. Just in like the last 10 years, a big shift in law enforcement leadership. And then where do you think we're going next? What's our trajectory?
Well, I'll tell you something I think needs to happen more, and there are strong leaders in law enforcement out there, but standing up and defending the men and women that put on the badge and the vest and go out every day and do their very best. I can't think of another profession where every move you make, every decision you make is going to be Monday night quarterbacked and armchair quarterbacked and scrutinized. You think about it, there's nobody else that wears a camera that documents every move that they make during their job. And as leaders, we need to be able to articulate and tell the story on why we make mistakes. And many of those are just honest mistakes. We're not perfect. I think we went through a period there where people were quick to criticize law enforcement, and it hurt us. You could see it in the proactive enforcement that police officers were doing. You saw it in recruitment efforts and vacancy rates throughout the country. And leadership needs to evolve and take that strong role and be willing to stand up for what's right and say, we're here to enforce the law, and we're here to do it in a fair and judicious way that the public definitely needs to buy into how we're going to do it. We need to police to the standards of the people that we serve. But leaders cannot roll over the people that they lead. They have to guide them from the front. And so I hope that continues to grow, and I'm grateful for the partners that I have in the profession today, so many of them throughout the country, here in California especially. We have some great leaders that I consider friends and partners, but I hope together we can continue to drive the profession in that positive direction.
And speaking for those of us that still have a few years to go before we're eligible for retirement, it's nice to see that we have that trajectory here in California for the profession, that things are moving in a positive way.
For sure.
A lot of positive change just on our department and other departments I see locally. How do you stay connected? I know we've already kind of talked about this, but how do you stay connected with the field, the boots on the ground, so that you can still do your job and maintain their perspective and what they need to be successful?
You have to get out there and see it firsthand. There's no substitution for that. You could surround yourself by the brightest mid-level managers and commanders in the department, and we have some bright ones in the highway patrol. But if we're being honest, we're all out of touch with what the men and women in the patrol car or on the bike are dealing with every day. The only way to see that is to get out there and sit beside them and talk to them and really listen to them. People do ride-alongs, but go out there with the intent of learning and seeing how can I make their job better. So many things that we've implemented over the past decade have probably gone the wrong way. I think in my time, we use the 415. You're familiar with that. It's a form that you write your daily activity on. It was way better for the officer back in the late 90s than it is today. It was safer. It was quicker. It was better. We've introduced technology. We've introduced data collection that, in my opinion, has made their job more dangerous. And decision makers need to look at it through that lens. How are we negatively impacting those doing the actual job? The only way to see that is to get out there and stand beside them.
Well, and that's one of the really positive, again, my opinion, positive changes that we've seen recently is you've changed how the department does maximum enforcement periods. And now, regardless of assignment, during the maximum enforcement period, management level and people working in administrative assignments are out in a patrol car on the road doing the job that we all signed up to do. And, you know, we've had some candid conversations. When I worked in an administrative assignment several years ago, I got counseled for making a traffic stop. That,
Yeah.
no, you're working in this administrative role. That's not your function. And it's like, it seemed very counterintuitive to me. So it's nice to see the proactive measures of making sure that no matter what your rank or assignment, you're still focused on what we all signed up to do.
Well, think about that. Maximum enforcement. Just think, we've got everybody available out there. In fact, we would go out to the public and say that we're putting all available resources on the road. That's what we're saying publicly. But then internally, you're the officer working the beat. You never saw a manager. You never saw anybody above a sergeant. Were we really maximum enforcement, or was that time for them to go out and do it while everybody else was off enjoying the long weekend or the holiday? So, yeah, it's just a basic principle. You got to lead from the front. You got to get out in front.
And it is so true. I've been here at headquarters now just over a year, and at the last MEP, we have a newer patrol car here, and you get in and everything's changed. Mm-hmm. It's always evolving. It's always changing. And if you're not out there and actively engaging in patrol, you're going to get left behind, and you're going to have a harder time making decisions on what they're doing in the field because you don't even know what they're using or utilizing or what the process is. And so, just from our standpoint, I know it's something that we are, glad to see. I think we both would love to be out there actually every day, probably more than we should, but it's beneficial.
No, you're going to be here.
I know. We'll be here. Yes, sir.
Doing podcasts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. By the way, sir. So shifting gears a little bit, CHP has a very rich history. We're a couple years away from our 100th birthday. The department was established on the grounds of fair and equitable traffic enforcement across the state, because prior to that, it was kind of a county by county patchwork. So obviously our name, Highway Patrol, very rooted in history with traffic enforcement. And a lot of people see some of the programs that we do, especially when we're posting stuff on social media about different programs and enforcement. A lot of people, I think, don't realize that the Highway Patrol is the state police for California. Can you speak to some of the programs that we have that maybe are outside of the cookie cutter traffic that most people in the public might associate with the Highway Patrol? Yeah.
No, and I get it why people think that. And to be fair, that was our primary bread and butter, and that was our only role early on in the the early years of the department. Right up until the 90s. In the mid 90s, the legislature passed a bill that merged the California State Police with the Highway Patrol, and that took on with that. We inherited all the responsibilities that a state police has: the protection of state constitutional officers, the protection of state property, state entities. And from there, the responsibilities have continued to grow, as we are California's state police. In fact, if it, maybe someday there'll be a subtitle on a name, California Highway Patrol, California's state police, because that's the fact of it. And the things that we do, people have no idea that we're engaged in on a day-to-day basis. Cybersecurity for the state, undercover officers on over 150 different task forces, federal, county, state, doing everything you could think of that traditional law enforcement does. We have a full-service SWAT team. We have warrant service teams. We have what I believe are some of the best special response teams in the country. Right here in the CHP that go out and do civil unrest and civil disturbance. You've seen some of the work that they have done in the last year or two. And so, and it doesn't stop there. It continues and will probably continue to evolve as policing evolves, as things become more technologically based and focused. I could see our role evolving in that as well.
Well, we're providing police service in some incorporated cities right now, and that's relatively new, isn't it?
Not really. I mean, we've always been there. It's always been part of our mission to support local law enforcement. And if you went back historically, there are times that we've done it. This has been very out in the front, because, people, it was under the direction of the governor, and the governor saw a need. Of course, the governor should be able to roll the state police when there's a need within the state. Every other state in the country has that same ability, and so of course he should be able to deploy officers. And we're not in any city that the local jurisdiction hasn't welcomed with open arms the assistance and the help. And so, and I'll say on that too, the proof's in the pudding. The numbers that these officers are generating when it comes to proactive arrests, and you look how the crime rates have dropped at the same time, there is a direct correlation between the work they're doing and the safety of that community. So
I remember very early on in my career working in West LA where I broke in. About a year on, we started doing a partnership with Inglewood Police Department in the city of Inglewood. And after a few months of a lot of proactive saturation enforcement in Inglewood, we'd be on stops and you'd have members of the community coming up and thanking us for being there because they saw such a huge change in their quality of life in their neighborhoods because the highway patrol had come in to supplement. And like you said, Inglewood PD was happy for the assistance. They were understaffed, and it's nice to see that continuing and spreading across the state, because at the time it was very regionalized. It was the Bay Area, it was LA, but now we're doing this in the Central Valley as well. And
yeah, we're down in Kern County and San Bernardino as well. And let me be clear: it's not nobody's saying that the local law enforcement isn't able to do it. It's in California, we're unique, where we all come together and support each other in time of need in the law enforcement community. And some of these agencies were struggling with staffing, like all of us, and so we're devoting resources where the issues are to better serve the people of the state.
And a lot of our specialty programs, we often do that between air operations, and then you were, well, both of you with Valley Special Services, had a lot of experience with a program that benefits any allied agency that asks for our assistance.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would agree. 84 days.
A bliss.
84 days of bliss.
They give me a hard time. I was only assigned there 84 days. There was an unexpected move.
Expected, unexpected, I don't know.
But anyway, can you talk a little bit about the K9 program?
Is that what you were alluding
Is that
to?
what
Yes,
we're
I was
alluding
alluding
to?
to-
We're
yeah,
talking about the
I was
K9
talking about the
program?
air
Yeah,
ops.
well, our K9 program, our air operations program is phenomenal as well. But in assistance to allied agencies through air resources, because you have several that can't. The resources the Highway Patrol has exceeds what the capability of several small departments have. It's something that's not feasible for them. So it's nice that we have those resources. I was going to give you a segue to talk about K9.
Oh, okay. I think we should have a canine healer on. That's going to be our next guest. Ray Garcia and Hanks out of Valley Division.
I just want to sit and pet Hanks.
Okay, yeah. Well, you don't want to pet him. But I'm not going to talk about K9. So I think, I can. I can talk about Valley K9 and how great the program is. But I think that somebody else would be better suited to talk about the K9 program. Dog, yes. Okay, I'm going to bring us back. What are
you guys fighting?
No,
Okay.
no. What are your priorities as we move forward as a department?
Well, it's simple. To be the best that we possibly can be. I think we owe it to the people of California to do everything we can to serve the people of California and make it the safest place to live, work, and travel. And that sounds a little canned answer, but that's the truth. That's what our role is. Our job is very simple. We're here to serve the people of California. I went to a training yesterday on, drugs, seizing drugs, illegal transportation of drugs. And at the end of the class, I told the 30 students or so that were there, listen, there's nobody else coming. This is us. This is on us. If we're going to stop that poison from going into the small communities throughout California, it's us and a few of our allied partners that have the means and ability to do this. And so the future for us is identifying those things and taking them on full speed, being the best that we possibly can be at it. The three of us and the members that are active today are all benefiting from the work and the foundation and the traditions and the reputation that was laid before us. It's our responsibility to figure out how to continue to strive for the next best thing. And so, yeah, that's what drives me.
Yeah, it's a heavy lift and a lot of, there's just so much going on and so many things that we're involved in. I can't imagine, we have one program that we're focused on here in community outreach and marketing section or multiple programs, but one very detailed focus, and have your hands in everything. How do you balance all of that?
Well, fortunately, you got to rely on just like we rely on you to carry the water here, we rely on experts in every field. And you have to trust people to do that. You give clear expectations and you give some guidance, and then you get out of the way and let them run with it. There's going to be course corrections, of course. That's human nature, right? We're going to make mistakes, but you do that in a way that doesn't de-incentivize people from continuing to take chances, and you let them keep running. So proud of the people that we are all able to work with, and true professionals with different focuses in so many categories.
What are some of the challenges that you see in the next 5 to 10 years, just with the growth and getting involved in more things statewide?
Yeah, I think staffing's going to be a big one for us. I think our recruitment's going very, very well. It's, the Governor Newsom and the administration invested money into our recruitment and invested into the Highway Patrol, and we've seen a lot of benefits of that. Our numbers are way up. I think we're down to 600 vacancies in the entire department, which is phenomenal. At the worst, we were over 1,000, and so, yeah, very, very good. But I can see there's so much responsibility out there. We don't have the number of people, and so I can see that being a big push for us to continue to either we got to figure out how to be more efficient, or we need more people to be able to continue to provide the service that we're doing.
And are you seeing that both with our uniform classifications, solely our uniform classifications, or across the board? Because we have so many professional classifications within the Highway Patrol. I mean, the Highway Patrol really does have a job for everybody.
Yeah. You mean the vacancies or just staffing?
Vacancies and staffing moving forward.
Yeah, I think it does go across the board for sure. I'm not talking just about the uniform, but public safety dispatchers. We have motor carriers that go out and do commercial vehicle inspections, or inspectors at our scale facilities. So, yeah, across the board, we need good, quality, talented people that want to go out and serve the people of California.
It's a perfect transition.
Thank you.
Yes. What advice would you give somebody that was looking to consider a career in law enforcement?
If you are driven by the desire to help other people, there's no better place for you to work. If you are self-centered and are driven by money, go work somewhere else. That's what I would say, because if you're not driven by helping people, you are not going to be happy here, because that is our core focus of serving other people, doing things for the people of California they can't do for themselves. And in my mind, that's at the core of what a police officer does. And if that doesn't drive you, then don't. If you're driven by service, you will not find a better place to work.
I think we've all been in a position where you've been at a social gathering or some function, and people find out what you do for a living, and inevitably you get what's the craziest thing you've ever seen or craziest thing you've ever done? And I always have trouble thinking of something like that. Like, the memories that come back to me that stand out the most are, like you said, they're the service-related things. It's finding the dementia patient that walked away from their house at 2 a.m. on the Cotati grade in the dead of winter with no shoes on, and getting her home and reuniting her with her family. Like, those are the things that I've done that stand out in my mind way more than a lot of the like Hollywood flashy stuff that people, I think, automatically assume is what we always remember.
Yeah, because those are the most rewarding, right?
Correct.
You actually help somebody and help them do something they couldn't do for themselves. I remember outside of Healdsburg, I had 1 or 2 years on. I stopped in one of those rain downpours you get in Sonoma County. I stopped at a disabled vehicle, and it was a mom and a daughter going to a 90-something-year-old grandpa's birthday, and mom's just in tears. Her face looked like she had been standing out in the rain, just crying, and because the car had overheated, and just she was blown away that I would scoop them up and drive them the 15, 20 minutes to grandpa's party so they could make it in time. And so, yeah, you're right. Those are the most rewarding, and hopefully that's why people come on the job.
Yeah, it is. It's about service. It's more than just a tagline. You said it's canned, but really I think that's the heart of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Why the CHP? If you were going to tell an applicant that was maybe confused, they wanted to go in law enforcement, but they weren't sure where.
What would I tell them?
Yep.
Oh, because we're the best.
Well, yeah, I agree.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
We're the best. And I believe we are. I believe we are one of the best. There are some fantastic law enforcement agencies in the country. Some of the best are right here in California. You know, a lot of respect for some of the sheriff's organizations and the police departments that are here in California. But obviously, I'm partial to the Highway Patrol. I love the freedom and flexibility it gives you, the ability to live in the Golden State. You know, California gets a bad rap sometimes with, I don't know, it seems like it's a lot of national attention of problems and issues. But traveled all over the country, you won't find better weather, you won't find better people, and what a great place to live and a great place to work. And if you want to work for a fun agency that has a great reputation, tell them this is the place for you.
So I would be remiss if I missed the opportunity, because we talked about it a little bit earlier, but you know, people that want to get into service and maybe they're not quite 21 yet.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know about the Explorer program.
Give it a plug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it away,
Who
Blair.
would be more qualified
Take it away, Blair.
than a prior Explorer captain?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that the highest rank you can get?
it is.
You were like a commissioner, but in the Explorers.
I would not. The paycheck was a little different. A slight pay discrepancy. Working for pizza and ride-alongs.
Yeah.
But
Only if you did your service hours.
because it's about service. It was very rewarding. But it's a volunteer program for youth 15 to 21, not necessarily that want to go to the Highway Patrol. I mean, some of us at a young age said that this is what we wanted to do for the rest of our lives, but maybe just to learn leadership and life skills and discipline and structure. And it can benefit you, because several people that I was explorers with, several are on the department, but several went into other professions. But I think that the lessons and the values instilled by the Highway Patrol, especially during those formidable years, can influence people in such a positive way.
No, you hit the nail on the head. And I think a lot of people think we do it for the recruitment. That's not why we do it. In fact, I don't know the numbers, but the majority of them probably do not come on the job, right? A good percentage of them do, but not over 50% of them, I don't think. And so the core reason is we're doing our part to influence youth. We're doing our part to build a relationship with the community. We're doing our part to expose another generation to the important work that we do. And hopefully in that, planting seeds and laying a foundation of service and a desire to help your community and a desire to be a part of something bigger than yourself. A payout for us, or a benefit, is we do get some good quality men and women that end up coming on the job. And so for that, we're grateful, but that's not the main reason we do it. I know a lot of the advisors give a lot of their own time, energy, and focus to help mentor and develop these young people. And so,
Which you know firsthand. Why did you become an Explorer advisor?
I just love working with young people. I always have. You know, you guys know I was coaching basketball before, at the time I got appointed, and coaching high school basketball. So whether it was coaching or working with scouts or youth, or I've always been involved in that. And I think it's just rewarding to be able to pass something along. And some people have that talent to teach and mentor and guide. And I know both of you do by being around you, and they should use those powers for good and influence our youth.
And even though you said the program it's not like a pipeline to the academy, we have found that the people that do go through the program are enormously successful in
The majority
the
are,
academy.
Blair.
So
The majority are.
it's a great prep program. If anyone is interested in joining the Explorer program, it is a great preparation program for the academy, if that is the direction you choose to go.
It is. And, you know, more importantly, you're interacting with other people and you're having fun in a time where in your life where that's exactly what you should be doing. Learning, having fun. And if you can do that while serving your community, then Explorers is a great place.
And it's great to be a positive role model in people's lives. I was an advisor for years, and I had parents that would come up and tell us that we, as the cadre of advisors, changed their kids' lives for the better, whether it was getting them away from some bad influences at school, helping them make better lifestyle choices as far as diet, exercise, video games. You have a positive impact on people's lives. And again, it's the things that you remember more than you do the crazy pursuits at 2 a.m.
Yeah. There you go. Podcast on Explorers.
Yes. You thought you were coming on to talk about your day job.
No, that's good.
This is the focus of this is actually your advisor time.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we wrap up,
You want to go on a ride along?
He's volunteered.
been a while.
I think he's qualified.
It's been a while.
Okay, before we wrap up, we'd like to hit you with some rapid fire questions.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know. We want you to just kind of say the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, what's the first thing you do when you get to the office?
Say hi.
To who?
Everybody.
Oh, everybody in the building?
Well, no, there's too many people, but usually I'll yell out something, good morning, or I'm home. Something.
Announce that you're there.
I will. And then,
Put your uniforms on.
Yeah. Then I go and just, like anybody, try to map out my day and, I'll turn on the news and get caught up on current events and stuff. But yeah, first thing I try to do is just to greet people that are the closest to me up there.
I feel like we gave him an unfair advantage on this one. What's your most memorable moment on the job?
Oh, honestly, there's so many. I mean, if you went back, I really encourage people, you should probably keep some type of journal or write these things down because you'll have a career just full of great stories and experiences. But probably because it was more recently, but something that really stands out to me was leading the procession on into the Police Week at the National Memorial in Washington, D.C. I've gotten to do that on the motorcycle with some of our motors and being back there. And I have a selfie that we took as we're all staged. And as far as you can see, it's motorcycles from across the country and then cyclists behind us going in to kick off National Police Week at the nation's capital. That was special. That was very, very cool. And I remember just leaning to the guys around me like, we were grinning ear to ear, all of us were. So that'd always be something that stands out to me. Special time.
Favorite leadership quote?
Do what you think is right.
Favorite on the go snack?
That quote's for me. I don't know if that's a quote or not.
No, it's great.
I say that all the time.
It is now.
Do what you think is
It
right.
is now.
I'm going to get it engraved on my desk.
Tattoo.
Not visible.
No,
Yeah.
of course not. What's your favorite on the go snack?
Almonds. Lightly salted.
Sorry, thought you were done. Lightly salted. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt the commissioner.
Yep. Oops. Biggest misconception about the CHP.
AAA with a badge. I laugh when I hear that.
That is funny.
Check our numbers and check our stats.
What keeps you up at night and what gets you up in the morning?
Oh boy, what keeps me up at night is the one thing. There's only one thing keeps me up at night. Have I done everything that I can in my power of influence and responsibility to make sure the men and women working graveyards go home safe? And I say graveyards because, you said night, but really are we as formal leaders on the department, have we done everything that we can in our power to prepare,
Yeah.
prepare the people that are out there doing the job to be as safe as they possibly can? We all signed up knowing that it's a dangerous occupation and that unfortunately sometimes the worst happens, but and I think we can all live with that and accept that risk with that. But as a leader, I feel responsible for making sure that we're doing everything we can to prevent that when it's preventable. So yeah, that's the one thing that would keep me up at night.
What gets you going in the morning?
The ability to go out and serve. And for me, that is focused now on serving the people that are out there doing the core job. How can I go into my job and make the officer's job better? How can I go into my job today and make the dispatcher's job better? The motor carriers, the civists that are out there. People don't know civists, commercial vehicle inspector, but these are the people that are doing the line level work for us. And how do I continue to make changes and improvements and maintain policies and procedures that help them do the important work that they're doing? It's exhilarating when you think about it. It's easy to get up in the morning, come
Pop
to
right
work.
out of bed.
Yeah.
If you weren't in law enforcement, what would you be doing?
I'd be building houses, contractor. Probably not a very successful one, but yeah, that's probably what I'd be doing. I love building stuff. So,
Okay.
What is
what would you be doing?
I'd be like a party planner.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I
an
could see that.
event coordinator.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that.
Yeah. Blair?
Blair, pharmacist,
no
dentist.
No, I'm not qualified to do anything else than this.
I'm like drawing a blank.
No,
like I
honestly-
can only see him doing this.
honestly, I've been wearing
No, train conductor.
He'd be a train conductor.
I've been wearing a uniform that has a CHP patch on it since I was 16 years old. Like I honestly couldn't imagine doing anything else than this job.
You better expand your horizons, mister.
Need a plan B. But yeah, award-winning podcast host.
Well, we'll see how
That
this
actually feels like a stretch right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge stretch right now. In one word, what's the toughest part of your job?
bureaucracy, procedures. We're just mired in procedures. So.
That's
Yeah, and I'm not talking. This is all internal. I'm not pointing the finger anywhere. This is the Highway Patrol has a policy for everything and a procedure for everything, and sometimes that slows things way down. I'm not a very patient person. That's not never been described as patient.
You?
So,
No. Can't imagine that.
no.
That's something we have in common.
We're not patient.
I am not patient.
That's yes.
Makes
very true.
ambitious leaders.
Okay, one piece of advice you would give to every officer leaving the academy.
Leaving the academy, be the best officer that you can be. Focus on that and be yourself. Don't try to be your FTO. Don't try to be your academy instructor. Be yourself and be the best that you can be. This is our craft. This is our profession. And professionals hone their craft and they become really good at what they do. There's so many facets of that in the Highway Patrol. So many different paths you can choose. Choose your path and be the best that you can be at it. Always strive for growth and education and be better.
Describe the CHP in 3 words.
Ooh. Professional, traditional, fun. Those are the 3 coming.
Horses or canines?
Oh boy, you guys are going to get me in trouble. I love them both. I'm an animal lover. Everybody knows I love the horses and the canine. If I had to pick between one of the 2, I would probably go with the canine just because it's amazing the illegal illicit drugs they pull off the streets, highways. Pounds, kilos of drugs, millions of dollars of money being used for drug trafficking. These officers out there working the beat are doing a fantastic job with that. Many of them are assisted by a little
Furry friend.
fur ball that can smell this stuff. Yeah.
Again, almost 100 years of tradition with the Highway Patrol. Favorite CHP vehicle of all time?
Okay, of all time, I don't know. But in my career, I really liked the Chevy Caprice. That thing had, back in its day, it had the digital speedometer. This is probably late 90s, mid 90s. Had the digital speedometer. And you actually had to know how to drive the Chevy Caprice because it didn't have all the technology cars have today. I don't know how we crash cars today. You know, they drive themselves practically. But that one, you had to know how to counter steer, and you had to know how to brake properly. But super fun car to drive.
You can't say commissioner.
Okay.
But favorite assignment during your career?
Oh, well, to be fair, I do believe you have to believe that your current assignment is your favorite assignment if
I knew you
you're
were
going to
gonna
be
say that.
effective. Yeah.
That's why I said you couldn't say that.
Yeah. Motor sergeant was really fun. I've been very fortunate with probably some of the funnest jobs on the Highway Patrol. And academy instructor's fun as well. But truly, if you're not happy in your current role, you got to do some soul searching. Your current role should be your favorite.
Favorite Chips character?
Oh, well, that's easy. And he was a motor, even though he wasn't the star of it. I liked the sergeant. Contreras? Contreras. I liked him. Just his demeanor, and I could relate to how he kind of carries himself. The shenanigans that Ponch and John would do, and the sergeant would have to clean it up. Feels...
Okay.
For
Fine.
some reason,
you got
feels
something?
real to me.
I was going to say there's a parallel, and I don't know if you remember or not because I texted you after your appointment a meme with Gautreaux because in 1999 they did a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's everybody in their current roles. And Gautreaux, a motor sergeant, was then the commissioner. So I was like,
Amen.
First motor sergeant to make
Did you know
commissioner
that?
since.
Did I know that
Gautreaux.
from Chip's history?
Yes.
No, but I believe Blair.
You're
I
ready.
believe that's
If
100%
you are
factual.
ever anywhere where there's Chips trivia,
Yeah.
you're ready.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, I've asked people, like, who were the car cops on Chips? Because, you know, motors are... And Blair's the only one that can recite almost all
he
of
knows
them.
them all.
I'm not going to,
Yeah.
If you need something useful, I'm not your guy. If you want some useless trivia, maybe even Chips related, come to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally,
Yes.
if you could deliver a message to every CHP employee, what would it be?
Be safe. Put your safety number one priority and look out for each other. And when I say look out for each other, it's not just watch their back when they're on the traffic stop. It's have the courage to hold each other accountable and have the courage to call somebody on something that'll potentially save their life or save their career or save their marriage or save their family, whatever it is. Too often we have a close friend that we're allowing to go down that path. So take care of each other.
That's
I love
something I do too. I mean, it's true. I mean, we've all been in those positions on either side of it sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's nice to hear. Well, Commissioner, thank you so much for joining us and helping us kick off this new chapter for the department.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you to our listeners for joining in for the first episode of Behind the Badge.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on social media as well.
We'll be back soon with more voices from the CHP. Until then, be safe, and thank you for listening to Behind the Badge.
You have traffic?
Multiple units 83 and Mountain Park.